data streamer.
Yo, do you?
So we are all familiar, right, with this phenomenon that kids, many kids these days, they are addicted as we are, but they are growing up with their smartphones or tablets,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Which is I had this conversation with someone that that they noticed that these kids don't grow up with a computer. So they don't know how a computer exactly works. Getting less popular.
Oh, that. Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, exactly. I've noticed it as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So that comes to my question.
yeah,
How will the life on computing, on dealing with computers evolve? Like,
yeah. Ooh, when you frame it that way, that's a good one. Let me see, because I've also experienced this. The Let me put it this way: like the millennial generation, our generation's millennials, we were in a fairly unique position in history where we had to learn more, uh, like even as a normal user, just you're using the computer, you had to learn more about the computer itself and its systems and how it works, because the software was just unreliable most of the time. So even a even somebody who's not what you would call a nerd, if they would use a computer, they would still understand a lot of concepts and a lot of things in computers, and they would still be able to troubleshoot a lot of computer stuff. I'm talking about like if you're a user from like 1990 until 2010 or so.
yep.
You know,
Especially with installing games.
yeah,
For example, you just have Steam or Epic Games. You click, and you're installing a game,
yes,
and you're finished. But remember those times that you have to go to the store, you buy a box,
yeah,
you put in the CD or DVD back in those days in your computer.
yeah.
Okay, you have to click the normal installation procedure like we have now, but yeah, you have to look on the booklet to find the serial number.
Oh yeah. Oh man, yeah. Also, DirectX version.
Oh yeah.
Oh, your DirectX version is incompatible. Blah 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 blah. Oh, your video card drivers. Blah blah. Video card drivers sometimes happens now, but it's fairly rare. But it's like, yeah. Uh, so we were in a unique position in history where we had all of these things, and so it gave us kind of like this insight. But now I notice, like at my work, some interns don't understand how the file explorer works. You know what I mean?
What?
So it's like they downloaded something, and I tell them it's in downloads. And then they're like, they have no idea how to navigate to downloads to find the thing. They can only find it because in the browser you can go to downloads in the browser, like in Chrome or in whatever. You have a download tab, so all the downloads you have done in the past are there, you know in order of downloads. If that tab wasn't there, that download tab, they would not be able to find it. They will, if I tell them, okay, don't use Chrome, go to the through Explorer, Windows Explorer, go through there and go to the file, go to the folder. They didn't even know what a folder was, or at
What?
least they didn't understand it as well, what a folder was.
Interns.
Yes, yes. And I work at a networking firm, and so you would expect that these guys, that these interns, they come from a, like a, technical university or college.
Or at least using your laptop, right,
Yeah,
to make
yeah,
notes
yeah,
in class or
yeah,
do the projects on
yeah.
Word or
Exactly.
something, as we used to do.
Yeah, exactly. So they were you. I saw how they worked. So I was just when I was helping this guy, uh, helping him out in the first few days to start up. I saw how they worked. Instead of knowing, oh yeah, the file is downloaded to downloads, so I have to navigate to the downloads folder to find it. Instead of just, oh okay, then I'll go to download, click, click, click. What he did was, I saw a lot of them do this as well. By the way, they search the file name, so they go to the search bar in the taskbar. There's a search bar. They enter the
Right.
file name there, and then they find it that way. Then they click on it that way.
Okay.
So I mean, it works, sure,
Yeah.
but you do not. They don't understand how the file system works, because they just use the search. They either navigate through the downloads tab of the browser, or they use the search. So they memorize the name of the file, or they read the name of the file. So oh, I'm gonna download that, and then they, you know, one time what I saw him do one time was that, you have to click save as, right? So he clicks
Yeah.
save as, and then it asks where do you want to save it. He copy pasted the name of the file, and then he pressed save, and then he pasted the name of the file in the search bar to find the file, and then he opened it that way.
Okay.
You know, so instead of, oh, I saved it, I'm gonna go to the downloads. He pasted the name of the file in search, and then that way,
Very,
oh, you know,
very inefficient. Yeah.
it's like, I was like, what are you doing? Also, another guy, he had trouble double clicking.
What?
Yeah, it was like
What are they
watch.
using?
I don't know what it was like watching my father use a computer for the first time 30 years ago. It was like this boomer clicking, like double click. It's like click, click. No, I mean double click. Yeah, I clicked it twice. What do you mean? When I was teaching my father like
Oh my lord.
30, 40 years ago, whatever, how to, or whatever, how to use the internet, or 20 years ago, whatever. I clicked twice. No, you have to click real fast twice. Oh, what do you mean? I clicked twice. Like, yeah, no, I mean, that stuff. They had trouble double clicking. Another guy. So it's like, these are like 19, 20-year-old guys who who are third years in a IT education at university level.
Education. What?
Yeah, that's what.
IT. What?
So yeah, you don't you.
What do they do? How do they use a
I
mouse then?
I have, man. One other guy. He also had troubles with the mouse. He had trouble, like, okay. Let me put it this way: when he, like, when you go click an icon, you just kind of like, you go to the with your cursor to the icon, you click on it.
Yeah.
He always missed, and
What?
he always was like kind of slow. I told him, yeah, click on that, and you see him kind of like slowly moving, and then still like kind of half the time he kind of missed, and had to correct his mouse pointer. I was like, what? I didn't say anything. I was just like, this is so weird, man. Like, so yeah, it's odd. It's
Wow.
really, so
Right.
that's why I'm saying, like, millennials were like in this short period where we know more about computers and how to use them or whatever than boomers, But now Zoomers are also turning into boomers in the way they are using the internet
What the hell?
because they don't understand technology. This is the interesting thing. Zoomers, when you don't understand a device at a certain level, you have difficulty understanding technology. Zoomers don't actually understand technology. That's something that I think it's a misconception. They
Even though
know,
they're studying it.
yeah, they don't actually understand it. They know how to use apps on their phone. That's it. They know how to use apps on their phone. But the thing with apps on your phone is that they are made to be extremely easy to use, and they usually have one or two functions, and that's it. And they don't do anything else. You know?
Which gets more interesting now regarding our topic, as in what is the cyberpunk future of computers?
Yeah.
If we talk now about applications or devices getting more user friendly, maybe I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
uh, what would happen then with the computers? Mouse keyboard action.
Well,
I
we're
mean,
yeah.
in Cyberpunk 2077, you use computers to hack, right? And
Yeah.
you can go through laptops and computers to open a door or hack or check emails, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's the okay. In Cyberpunk 2077, computers are still there, and we usually yeah hack into computers as well like that. So it's still there, but it's like the technology there is more mobile than ours, and because of the history of the of the that universe itself, their technology split from ours somewhere in the 1970s or 80s. Somewhere there, their technology started to diverge from our technology, mainly in the usage of screens. They don't have their screen technology isn't that much because they somehow managed to develop the brain dance interface before somewhere in the 80s or so, something like that. And also they managed to develop cybernetics somewhere in the 90s or 80s or something like that. So they kind of had got lucky in that aspect of the technology when they develop. So that's why they have their universes like that. That's one of the things. Um, so that kind of makes it a bit hard to like compare because they didn't go through the same development as we did. But the interesting thing is that a lot of their technology is very small. It's portable. It's you carry it with you, and when I think about the future of computing in our world, I'm thinking about that. You know, it's small. A smartphone is a good start. You carry it with you, and now that we're seeing it as well, it's gonna be a lot of AI. So instead of like having to type on a keyboard, you're telling the AI, "Hey, I want to do that. I want to do this. Blah 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 blah." That kind of stuff. Like Star Trek. Star Trek, they tell the AI a lot of stuff. Like, hey, I want to do that, make that, whatever.
But then I wonder, like, there's this ongoing war, right?
Yeah.
Console versus computer games.
Yeah.
So in that way, yeah, of course, the computer
Hmm.
will survive, of course, right? Like, okay, for gaming and programming and stuff.
Oh yeah. We'll always have desktop computers. That's not going away anytime soon. Um,
But
but
it will evolve.
it will evolve, yeah, and it will become more portable than now. Now we have laptops, but I mean, in like these days, you could hook up your telephone to a screen and you get video, and you can hook up a keyboard to it and you can start typing. You know, so that's kind of like the way I see the future heading. It's portability, on the go, And as soon as we have brain dance type of technologies, there's got to be a lot of that too as well. That's gonna be the big ticket technology for portability. We already have it a bit, uh, because some of these VR glasses aren't these big bulky things. Some of them are. Some of them are trying to become smaller and with more limited, with more limited features, so they can become smaller. That kind of stuff. I think that's gonna be the future for that kind of stuff. That you can like literally hook up a VR glasses to your telephone or something like that, and then on the go you can do some VR stuff. Those kinds of things, but limited VR stuff. Like it's not gonna detect. Probably it's not gonna detect certain movements, certain axes, and you're like only gonna be able to do it when you're sitting down. That kind of stuff. Limited. You know. Yeah, but when it comes to like what I just explained now, that they know how to use it or whatever, it's gotta be rough. It's gotta be pretty rough because that kind of knowledge is kind of like fading. Even amongst like the nerds or whatever, the people who actually learn this stuff, because software has become so good, so stable. It's actually kind of like a good thing back in the day that Windows 98 was so crashy and buggy. It's weird to say, but actually I'm glad it was so crashy and buggy now that I think about it, because it made me learn so much about troubleshooting computers, sorting out technical issues, that kind of stuff. I learned so much from that piece of crap, that Windows 98 bug fest. Uh, Today with Windows 11, it's so stable. It's insane how stable it is. You almost never have any issues unless you're messing with something. You
Yep.
know, you have to be really doing a lot of shit. Putting effort into screwing up with Windows. These days. You know, Back in the day, you just let Windows 98 just sit there, and then it starts just getting bugs. It's just error screens start popping up. You're not doing nothing, you're just sitting there. you know, so that's changing a lot. So it's like it's like this.
You know,
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
it's interesting as in um, because of working from home,
Yeah,
many people, both parents, mom and dad, are working home, working on a computer, most likely, right?
yeah, yeah,
Editors and stuff. So you would expect that, in my day, in my time when I was a child, I saw my dad on a computer. I was like, "What are you doing? This looks cool. Let me do the same." And then I also became a computer guy
yeah,
because of my father was a computer guy. He was
yeah,
very much into computer. So
yeah,
you would expect that, especially when people are doing more on computers, you would expect that. I would have expect that their kids would copy their behavior. Like,
yeah,
oh, I am also working doing stuff on a computer, playing games.
yeah, yeah, but no.
But no,
Yeah,
but
no.
no, smartphones and tablets,
Yeah,
or of course consoles. But
yeah, of course. Yeah, because I mean, the smartphone is the default device these days. It's like, yeah, especially for kids. I mean, or tablets or whatever. It's like just easy. It's just that's
yep.
all it is. It's easy. You don't have to learn to type. When do you type on a tablet? I mean, who cares? you know, like it's like whatever. And what are
Did
they?
you?
You know,
Sorry, I have to talk about typing. Uh,
yeah.
is your intern be able to type blindly?
No, 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 no. The no.
So
Forget
he's
that.
typing like a boomer,
Yeah, like a boomer. Boomer typing, single
single
digit,
finger.
single finger, one word, one letter, looking half the time, looking at your yeah letters and whatever, and like the mouse movement is also like really bad and choppy. I mean, I've seen a lot of that, and it's mostly the younger people. You know, uh, it's either the boomers, yeah, it's either the boomers or the younger people. You know, it's not the millennials, and this is my experience at my work. And I work at a big ISP, internet service provider, and I'm a network engineer there. So the department, you should know what you're talking, what you're doing. You should be technically, inclined and knowledgeable. And these guys, some of them, it's like, man, what am I looking at? It was pretty weird to see. It was pretty weird to see. Yeah, so it's like typing is gonna be rough. But I mean, I'm not the only one experiencing this. I mean, I've seen a lot of reports from like Deloitte and all these companies. They're talking about like that Zoomers need to be trained in modern technology because they don't really understand it. Deloitte is offering their new employees offering courses to get them to get used to modern tech, because this is the big Zoomer lie, the massive Zoomer lie. They are not tech savvy. They are not tech savvy. They know how to install and use apps on their phones. That's it. They don't know, they don't understand technology. You know, they don't if there's a problem with the technology, they don't understand it, and they go back to the store and they just hand it over. I have a problem, fix it, and that's it. They don't they're boomers, you know. So it's like, yeah, it's like a lost skill these days, that kind of stuff. So that, like, the future of computing, this is a funny thing, when we discussed the topics that we would kind of talk about, when I saw that the future of computers in the topic lists, we have several topics that we choose from a list. I thought it was something completely different. I didn't expect that it was this. I didn't expect that you meant this aspect of it. I thought you were talking about, because when I saw the list, I was like thinking, oh yeah, computers gotta be more portable. They gotta be like, you can carry them around. You'll be able to compute anywhere. It's like gotta be like AI driven. Like you're gonna be like, it's because it's gotta be annoying to have a keyboard with you. In a bus, you're gonna be able to talk to them vocally. Hey, computer, can you blah 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 blah? And then you have a. That's what I was thinking, because
Well,
that's where I think it's heading. But you were talking about, like, you meant like this crazy stuff, the more the more doomery side, where people are losing their technological abilities because the
well,
systems
yeah.
are so easy and user friendly that now humans are becoming lazy. There was a name for that, where the system is becoming user friendly to the point where you lose skill. There's a name for that.
I don't
Um,
know, but let us know in the
yeah,
comments below.
I'll put the name up now, in case when I find it, I'll put it up now. That's what it's called. So look at the screen. It's that's what it's called when the systems become so advanced that the users using the system lose skills. There you go. But yeah, it's
But hey,
yeah.
yeah, the cyberpunk future of computers, what you just mentioned on your way, we can have that in the next time, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not really that interesting. I mean, it's just small computing. That's it. But yeah, I mean,
I mean,
it's
we
a,
talked about it, right?
ah,
We talked about how computers getting
we
smaller
we talked
and
about it a
how
lot of times.
smartphones slash tablets are getting more and more being the default.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about it. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of scary moving into this, like, future where the technical skill of even technical personnel is kind of dropping because of the reliability and the advanced nature of these computing systems that we're using now. Yeah, that's kind of a scary thought, because I mean, yeah, what happens after the Zoomers? Gen Alpha is in a world that's even more full of tablets and even more full of these things, and they don't need to troubleshoot whatever, And so I don't know. It's the intrinsic skill of technology is kind of being lost, uh, because you're just becoming a consumer and not thinking about how the device works or any of that kind of stuff. The device just works, and that's it. You're just a consumer. You're it's to a point where the device doesn't even matter. You're on YouTube. You're on Facebook. That's it. And whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
But and
technology, you know.
yeah, the technology as in on the tablets and the smartphones, it's also
Mhm.
quite bug free already,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
nobody or newer generations aren't really going in much into troubleshooting on a tablet or a smartphone.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, I want to install this app, but oh, my CPU version is the wrong version. Oh, I need to install this software patch because then it's compatible. None of that stuff. None of that. So you don't learn about CPUs. You don't learn about RAM. You don't know that, oh, I can't do this because I don't have enough video RAM on my thing. Like some of the most simpler thing. It's like yeah, this shit just works, and
Yep.
that's it. And then so yeah, whatever. The first time a lot of these people probably encounter anything like that is probably when they're studying at university, and it's like, oh, I need to learn because I'm studying to become a programmer, so I need to learn about RAM. I need to learn about I need to learn about memory, and I need to learn how about video cards because I want to program video cards, or that kind of stuff. It's like the first time a lot of them would probably be encountering any of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Not in their free time, not in their when they're gaming, not when they're whatever. No, they at that moment. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of like a crazy future. Yeah.
What do you think, dear listener and viewer? What do you think on how computer will evolve?
Oh
Please
boy.
please let us know in the comment below.
Yeah, let us know.
And please support us by giving us a like on this video and subscribing. And we will see you in our next video.
Yeah, see you next week. Also, check our Discord. It's in the
Oh
description.
yeah. Let's have a chat about computers.
Yeah,
On
let's
the
have
computer.
a chat on the computer. Yeah. Okay,
All
bye,
right,
guys.
have a nice day. Bye bye.